It's my word to the family. I know it's been hard, but through it all, man, I promise we gon' ball.
NFL to talk about, man.
Man, I mean, the one thing I'm going to say off the rip before we even start going into the notes, the NFL is rigged.
Scripted.
It's rigged, bro. Like this is the equivalent of WWE, and I watch WWE, so it's like I know some scripted stuff when I see it.
Right.
And this shit is scripted, bro.
Cats are missing tackles left and right. It's like, why you know what I mean? Like, even, you know, okay, you know, I'm big on Detroit this year.
Yeah.
I always felt, I said they was going to get the #1 seed, and I felt like they got cheated because they should have beat Dallas.
Yeah.
And also, too, and during that game, I think it was their linebacker. You know, Detroit had the Cowboys backed up in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Old boy from Detroit, I forgot his name. He came straight through untouched. Had a clear sack for a safety on Dak and ran right past him. Like I mean, yeah, I'm gonna put the highlights on and show that particular play. I mean, he ran. Nobody touched him. Like they parted the Red Sea. He went straight in there. All he had to do was hit him. It would have been a safety. He just went right past him. I'm like,
I didn't even pay no attention to them games.
Yeah, man. I'm like, you know what I mean? But anyway, you know, everybody clearly see that Detroit was cheated, because if they would have won that game, and then they won the last game of the season, and San Francisco lost. Mm-hmm. So that would have given them the #1 seed, but instead, you know, they're the 3 seed or whatever. But I still think they're gonna, you know, I'm big on Detroit, man. He's still my pick to go to the Super Bowl. San Fran.
Bro, we're gonna talk about it.
All right. Well, let's get it, man. We're gonna recap these playoffs games. Start way back with starting with the Texans and the Browns. So the Texans beat the brakes off the Browns, 45-14.
I seen it coming.
I feel like Cleveland, for one, they came into that game with a bad game plan. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel like they let Flacco play. They just wanted him to manage the game. You know, his passes was little dump downs and, you know, to the running back, you know, and I just felt like they wasn't prepared for that game. And, and they didn't let, like I said, they didn't let Flacco, play. They just wanted him to manage the game instead of letting him play. You know what I'm saying? And I think if they would have let him play to win the game, it probably would have been a different outcome of that, that game. Yeah. But Houston's defense looked like what Cleveland's defense was supposed to be. You know what I mean?
This is why I said what I said earlier in the video. Like, it's scripted, bro, because there's no way that their defense just was that elite in that game. It was like they had A1 defense, and I'm just like, man, like, there's no way. I didn't watch the game, but I watched the score on the ESPN app.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, scores. I'm like, man, but see, the thing about me is, I feel like Cleveland always fold in the playoffs anyway, so it's like, whatever.
I give it up to them, even with their injuries, without Chubbs and, Watson going out, even though he didn't play like a $200 million quarterback anyway while he was playing. But, big ups to them for getting the games, the winning the games they won to get in the playoffs, you know what I mean? And, I thought that game, I thought Cleveland would have pulled that out, because of their defense. But their defense, I mean, like,
did their defense even show up that game?
I mean, they allowed 45 points, so no. I mean, Stroud looked good, man. He had 274, 3 touchdowns, no picks. You know what I mean? That's good on that Cleveland defense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, I've been big on Stroud all season. Like I said, I love the way he is running his offense. He's got it down to a science. Like, he can look a defender off knowing that he's going to go to the right, but he can stay over your left, come back, boom, hit that receiver, pull that safety off or whatever. You know what I mean? So it was just embarrassing, man. Like, I'm just sitting here looking at the game like, tag, like, Cleveland is getting this whoop.
Yeah, I kind of feel it was going to happen, though. So, like,
yep.
What's next on the roster?
KC over Miami. They beat them 26-7. Now, Miami all season, like I said, they just can't get it done against good teams. You know what I'm saying? They beat all the teams they supposed to beat, but I think they're like 1-5, 1-6 against teams with winning records. You know what I mean? And I kind of had a feeling that Kansas City should win that game. I mean, I picked Miami for the pick 6, and ended up taking that loss. I think you picked Miami too.
Yeah, I did too. Like, where I messed up at is like, if I would have knew that KC was at home, I wouldn't have picked Miami because I know Miami can't play in the cold.
Yeah, right. That's one of the biggest problems.
That's they flaw. So like, if I would knew that, I'd have been like definitely KC. Yeah. But I picked Miami like a dummy, and
I picked them because I'm like, okay, I'm thinking they're going to get over it. They're going to get this win and shut up all the critics. But the outcome, 26-7 butt whooping.
Trash, man. It was trash, man. It was tragic.
Okay, on to the Bills and Steelers. Buffalo beat Pittsburgh 31-17. With Buffalo, man, I kind of feel like they paved the way for Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, and like I knew Pittsburgh wasn't going to beat. It's like, really, they playing, like this is cakewalk for Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, they're talking about how Josh Allen played. I mean, it was cool. He put up some good numbers, but you put those numbers up against Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Pittsburgh. Like, and nothing against him. Like Mike Tomlin, I like him. You know what I mean? He's at a winning record. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. Yeah. But they hurting quarterback. They're just hurting. So like,
I kind of figured Buffalo was going to win just because Buffalo was a more superior team. Yeah. So I was just like, I had no interest in that game just because I already felt like Buffalo was just going to sweep them away. Like,
yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh did what they did to try to make it interesting, but it was 21-0, and then the first half, I mean, I think it was 21-7 at half. The game was pretty much a wrap. Pittsburgh wasn't going to really get out of that hole. Yeah. Now to my boys, the Lions over the Rams, 24-23. Now
I'll let you talk about them.
Now I was kind of nervous on that one, man, because I'm like, oh man, like Detroit need to, I really felt they should have beat the brakes off the Rams. The Rams, they good, you know what I'm saying, but I just felt that Detroit, I felt like they should have at least scored 30 plus points, you know what I'm saying? They could have, you know what I mean? But they didn't. They pulled it out by one. I thought like the Rams would come down, maybe kick a field goal and win. But Detroit, they got a couple of first downs in the fourth quarter to run the clock out. And I'm like, man, they got their first playoff win, at home. I think they're gonna go all the way, man. Like I'm telling you, man, Detroit to the Super Bowl. That's the sleeper team. And everybody
saying that since day one, so I'm gonna let him have that. But like the simple fact of the matter is, they not about to get past.
Let me tell you something about Detroit, man. Since I always dating back to last season, like I always say, the end of the season, second half of the season, they went 8-2.
Yeah.
Up until this point, their last 27 games, Detroit is 20-7. And they're starting to get on everybody's radar. They're starting to get on everybody's radar now. People are starting to give them props. I'm like, man, you don't accidentally go 8-2. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't care. Like, and they continue that success from last year into this year, and people are starting to look at them now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I see people talking about like, Detroit is the truth. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good stat line. Right?
Yeah, you're like 20-7. Like nobody's talking about that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Nobody say that. You the first person I even heard bring up that stat line.
Yeah, man. Cause I mean, that's my Super Bowl pick, man. Like, you know what I mean? But it was a close one, man. The Rams came to play. You know what I mean? Like, but it's cool. Detroit won by 1. So, you got any thoughts on that?
Nah, I mean, except for the fact, like, you so high on Detroit, but I'm just like, bruh, they almost lost. They only won by 1, but you still picking them to go to the Super Bowl, and they just barely squeaked by The Rams, bro.
The Rams was
the San Diego Rams now or something like that?
they
Los Angeles Rams. What is it?
Yeah.
Los Angeles Rams.
But
So,
the Rams, I mean, you look at their squad, the Cooper Kupp, the quarterback. I can't even think of his name, man.
I don't know his name. So
he was actually Detroit's quarterback before Goff was.
okay.
Yeah, what is this dude's name? It's Stratford.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? They was talking about how they were both playing each other's old teams. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So. Yeah, but I'm really big on them. You know what I mean? Like, even if they would have lost in the playoff, it still would have been a good season for Detroit.
Good run. Yeah. They had a nice little. Even if they lose this week or whatever, next week. I mean, no, this week. It's this week. Even if they lose this week, they still had a good run.
Yeah.
But like, 'cause that team is solid. I ain't gonna front on them. They solid. I've been watching them.
I don't think they are. Tampa Bay is going to Detroit, so I don't think that
they're gonna beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I don't think they. Unless the only way I see Tampa Bay winning this is like if Tampa Bay just carry that momentum from beating Philly. And they just all pumped up, they juiced, and they just feel like they the underdogs, and they go in there and just overwhelm Detroit. Mm-hmm. Then maybe, just maybe, they might squeak by if Detroit don't come with their A game.
Yeah, which I don't think is going to happen because Detroit is hungry. Like, they're not losing. They're not going to lose against Tampa Bay, and that's going to lead us right into the two biggest upsets of the playoffs so far: Philly and Dallas. Let's start with Dallas first. Dallas lost at home to the Packers, 48-32.
That was so terrible.
And let me tell you, the real score was 41-16. Like, and everybody, I heard people talking about Dak had a good game. He didn't have no good game. It's trash. He had a real bad, terrible pick six. Like, it's like, who you throwing the ball to? And all those stats, all those numbers he got came in garbage time. They was down 41-16. Game over. So they ended up scoring 32 points in garbage time, which really the real score was 41-16. That was the final. But Dallas scored late. Green Bay already had the game. They already had the game won. So it was trash. So Dak, terrible game. Jones ran all over Dallas, man. 21 for 18, 21 for 118 with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Love, man, look good, man. 220, 272, 3 touchdowns, no picks on this supposedly good Dallas defense. What's your thoughts, man?
Man, I didn't watch this game either. I just looked at the stats, and when I seen, I'm just like, I seen the pick, and I'm just like, yeah, Dax being Dax though. Like, you kind of figured he was going to do something like a pick six. Then, for them to lose the way they lost, what'd you say the score was?
For the final score was 48-32.
Yeah, see, that's just terrible.
But the real score, the real butt whooping, 41-16.
Yeah, so it's just terrible that they lost like that, man. Because this is America's favorite team, right? And for them to lose like that, man, why do y'all still love Dallas? I don't understand. What I don't get about Dallas is why they can't. I wonder. It seems like to me they got some type of curse where they just can't get over. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe it's that Dax thing. Maybe he's just not a good quarterback.
I don't know.
They need to move on.
Could be. I'm kind of leaning towards that. Like, I think it's Dak, but it's not just Dak. There's something wrong. Like, there's something causing. They have a good defense and offense, bro. There's something wrong there that's keeping Dallas from getting to the next level, and you just don't know what it is. We can say Dak. We can say Jerry Jones. We can say.
What if it's the offensive coordinator?
Could be. We don't know. It's something. It's just always hitting. Nobody. It's like hiding in plain sight. That's the problem right there. But something's wrong with them, man. But they got the brakes beat off them at home, man. Green Bay punched them in the face early, and they just gave up. You know what I mean? It was over when they was down 20 to zip. You know what I'm saying? Like
they took their heart away.
Yeah,
early.
like took their man.
Yeah, it was early. They were just like, oh man, like
yeah. So
snatched their soul.
Right, took everything.
Right.
They lost all hope in humanity after 20 to zip.
Yeah.
And the Eagles got their ass beat by Tampa Bay. Now, 32 to 9. And now I don't know. Eagles just fell apart, man. Like, even though when they was winning, like I said, they were winning a lot of close games. You know what I mean? But it was still, I was like, they got some problems. It's just nobody seen it because they was winning. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Their secondary ain't that good, but he's been getting beat deep, and they seem like nobody in the playoffs have been able to tackle. Like, it's like these dudes got grease on them, and they hard to grab. Like, for real, like I've seen so many missed tackles, and you know, and this leads us into the next thing where I talk about, you know, they're talking about shit, coaches get fired and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think that it's always the coach's fault because coaches coach and players play, right? Yep. So how is it the coach's fault when two defenders run into each other, and I'm talking about Philadelphia game, run into each other playing defense, and let the wide receiver get a wide open touchdown? You know what I'm saying? Like, how's that the coach's fault? Now, I know coaches call plays and schemes for certain downs, you know, 3/4 for this, you know, some nickel, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Now, I get sometime, like, let's say Cleveland. Cleveland, that was a bad coaching, you know, coaches didn't prepare them for that game. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's why I say, you know, that should have been on the coach's fault for not letting Flacco play, for not calling better plays. You know what I'm saying? But when a coach call a play and you got Dak throwing a little pass and getting it picked for pick six wins, like, why would you throw it right there? Like, it was a bad pick six. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like the ball was bobbled. It's like you threw it, like you didn't even give it no time.
Like he said, take this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like how is that on a coach? That's what I say. Like, they're trying to call for firing Mike McCarthy and stuff like that. Is he really the problem? You know, so let's say you get rid of him and you bring in John Doe Public or whoever. Yeah. And they still got the same problem. So that right there will let you know it's not the coach. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like, you know, and they're talking about firing Philly's coach. Philly's coach ain't the reason why Philly lost them games. You know what I'm saying? Or why Philly lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, now he just went to the Super Bowl last year. They got problems, you know, injury problems. There's a lot of stuff going on with Philly. It's not the coach's fault that Hurts is hurt. You see what I'm saying? Or AJ is out. You know what I'm saying? They're missing pieces that can help them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't like the fact that, you know, everybody want to fire the coach and call the, you know, if the coach say call a play and the quarterback throw a pick, it's not the coach's fault. That's Dak's fault. He threw that pick six, not the coach. You know what I mean?
Decision maker.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what's your thought on that?
Like, I never really been big on the whole coaches being fired for player mistakes thing. I never really liked it that, but we don't know about stuff behind the scenes. Yeah, right. Maybe this person is softer than a whoopee cushion. And he's not tough enough on the players or something like that. Like we're just watching it on the TV screen. So we just see what we see with our eyes, and we can just speculate. And sometimes you can see when problems like that, like, oh, this coach is not good. Like I would say Ohio State's coach, like he's not. You can see that he's not the coach that Ohio State need. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking anything away from him, you know what I'm saying, but he's just not that type of coach. You know what I'm saying? So you can usually see, you know, when something's wrong with the coach and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It's just weird. I don't think the coaches should be getting fired, but I think they're going to probably end up firing McCarthy. They're also talking about bringing in Belichick. For what? I don't know. That's a shocker too. When I found out that Belichick got fired, I said, huh? That was a shocker to me. Well, they parted ways. You know what I'm saying? Man, fuck out, that nigga got fired. Fuck out, just call it what it's called, man. That nigga got fired. All right, we appreciate your service, Bill, but it's time to go. It's time to go, motherfucker. But you know, I don't know. You know, like
no matter who you bring in, if you can't fix the problem, it's going to be the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I get a no-nonsense guy like Belichick. I could see that working in Dallas. Maybe that'd get them to them. But there's something about Dallas. I think like Stephen A. always say, they get in their own way. And that's what's been happening, all their losses and stuff like that. They got in their own way. Yeah. So. You want to add anything else?
What, to the Philly loss?
Yeah, just in general about everything.
All right, so about the whole Philly thing, I love the fact that they ain't in the playoffs no more. I love it. I'm not even going to front it. They were doing so good at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, 10-1.
They was 10-1 and then lost the last, 6 out of 7 games, bro?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Bad losses, too.
Come on, man. I'm doing the boosie on y'all. Like, come on, man. Y'all lost the last 6 out of 7 games. Man, you know how bad that is?
Yeah.
That's terrible. Then y'all just got put out of the playoffs by the Buccaneers. A team that shouldn't even have been in the playoffs for real.
Yeah,
they barely squeaked by.
Yeah, and that garbage, division they in, you know what I'm saying? Man. Like, they had no business losing, and not just losing, but losing that bad. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like, bad. It was terrible.
Like, they made Tampa Bay look good, and I don't want to take nothing against, but Mayfield had a good game, man. And if they was dropping passes too, if they would have caught more, they probably would have put up more points on Philly, you know what I'm saying? But once teams figured out, you didn't stop beating themselves how to beat Philly. That's what happened, man. They knew that secondary.
I think that's what it was. They figured out the Philly puzzle.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
these dudes ain't really that good, man. It's just us beating ourselves.
Yeah, that's what's been happening all season. You know what I'm saying? They've been having the football gods on their side up until that point. You know what I mean? So
and then go 11-1. And then you lose the last 6 out of 7.
It happens sometimes. And that's all I would say. I always say, your records say who you are, but there's always them teams that end up peaking at a certain time. Because, like, Green Bay, when I saw Green Bay, I was like, Green Bay is always that one team that can, they might start off slow, but they end up winning. They can do some damage. And what they did, and I was worried about that. I'm like, man, Dallas may overlook Green Bay. And I think that's one of the things that happened when they overlooked Green Bay and Green Bay smacked them in the mouth. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Made them look real bad at home. Like, that's just, I feel for the Dallas fan base, for not the arrogant ones, you know what I'm saying, but the ones that spend their money and go and always got to endure this, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Not them arrogant ones, we always going to win the Super Bowl.
I got a neighbor that's a diehard Dallas fan.
And ain't nothing wrong with being a diehard, man, but come on now, like, don't be a delusional, you know what I'm saying? Like, the
difference between being a delusional and a diehard.
Yeah, totally different, you know?
Total different.
Yeah. But, I don't know what can fix Dallas if they will ever get fixed. But, but like when it comes to firing coaches and stuff like that, I think it all depends on their record, how good, like with Philly's coach, he just came off a Super Bowl run, like, last year, so now you want to fire him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
It's like no love in these sports leagues.
And that's how it is with Philly, man. Philly is a tough team to play for, man. Like, when you're doing bad, you know what I'm saying? When you're doing good, they cool, but when you mess up, they're real hard on you, and stuff like that.
I think that's what's so terrible about these sports leagues, man. Like, as soon as when a player or a coach or somebody do bad one season, they out the door.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I can kind of say, well, Belichick had a couple of, last couple of years.
He deserved it.
He's been declining. But I think, too, just as well as coaches are held accountable and get in trouble, players should be put on the same level, too. Like, when they're doing good, you give them praise. When they're doing bad, hold them accountable. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, instead of firing coaches, let's check some of the players. Like, why you out there bumping into each other, falling down? You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't the coach's fault.
Bench these motherfuckers.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. But, it was a crazy weekend in football. A lot of upsets, a lot of unexpected wins. A couple of them I was like, even with the Houston, too, I'm like, I don't know, man. Houston is, you know what I mean? Like, they can do some damage, man. Stroud is that dude, you know what I mean?
I never really paid attention to the Texans, man. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah, man.
I paid attention to the top team, not the bottom team.
Top teams only.
No, I'm just fucking.
I ain't
around.
worried about y'all down there. You know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
playing around because my team is definitely a bottom tier team. Like I think they're going for a draft pick, man.
Yeah, they all the way down there.
I hope we fuck around and get Marvin Harrison and not Chicago.
Yeah.
So like, if we can get Marvin Harrison, like I would be very, very happy. But I think we still need a QB, right?
Yeah, y'all need some help.
Yeah, I think we still need a QB.
They need a whole squad, you know what I mean?
So
coaches, everything, you know what I mean?
yeah, so we'll see.
Bring Cam back.
He ain't coming back.
Hey man, I heard that man, it was so bad in Carolina, man. Their tickets were like $40, man, or something like that, like really cheap. Cause ain't nobody going to the games, man. Like,
because that team is not exciting, so I don't understand.
Like that's bad though, man. But
for the people that watches this, Carolina been my team since I was like 12. When they was good, going to the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Not now, it's Carolina. No. But I'm a diehard. I'm not going to change my team because we're doing bad. I'm going to stay with my team.
You're a 49er now.
I was a 49ers fan before I was a Carolina fan, so I always stayed a 49ers fan. That's why 49ers is going to the Super Bowl this year.
They got to get past Detroit.
Man, they out the door, man. You might as well nick them, bro. They out the door.
That's like Dame going up against Shaq rapping.
This dude go with that shit, man. Like, why is that always a thing, bro? Like, Dame, what rap circles around Shaq? Cause like this day age of rap is all about similes, bars, and metaphors. Shaq.
Hold up, you said that's how rap used to be back in the day. I don't know what it is now. Nobody's spitting no bars these days.
The good rappers, anyway.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I would say the good rappers.
Not the garbage rappers that's doing
mumble rappers.
Rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking about the mumble rappers. I'm talking about the rappers that's up there, like the J. Cole's. And
I get it. Yeah.
Don Trips and all that.
You hear what they're saying.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The ones you want to listen to their words.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Those rappers, not these niggas like Migos and stuff that shit. No, not them niggas.
Give you a headache, let's shut up,
The ones
man.
that's actually out here saying something. Like, that's what Dame is. Like, I'm not saying Shaq can't rap. We done had this debate plenty of times. Shaq can definitely rap, but he's more like just a lyrical rapper.
Yeah. I just love to do this. So I love to do this.
Like, Shaq can definitely fucking rap, man. But damn, this nigga, man, he's so damn old school. He always he taking that shit back like bro, like, man, that's next topic.
I'll bring that up just to get Slash hot, yo.
Man, this dude, man, like, come on, man.
All right, man. Hey, well, y'all hang tight, man. It's drop us a comment down below. Let us know what y'all thought about the playoffs.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And hang tight, we'll be back, man. Next up, our top 5 teams.
Top 5.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.